If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Recently, I've been kind of playing around with Lorenzo being my 8-month-old, and I find myself doing like different voices, like whether I'm reading to him or feeding him or just looking at him. And it just, in a way, create new characters. I've never been good at accents. I've never, ever been good at accents. And I'm I do theater. I'm a theater that doesn't do accents. But I'm wondering, like, if you guys have any sort of accents. And if you do, let's get a little sneak peek.
Okay. I was born in 1989. Like any good 90s kid, I was obsessed with the Spice Girls. So you all hear me talk about Lady Gaga a lot, but I guess I need to fill in a little bit of knowledge here for y'all. The Spice Girls were my original, like, obsession. Like, entire bedroom filled floor to ceiling with Spice Girls memorabilia. All of the dolls. My 9th birthday party was Spice Girls themed. And if you were invited and you showed up, you had to come in costume as your favorite Spice Girl. So as a Spice Girl, like, aficionado and someone obsessed, you have to get your British accent perfectly down so that you can perfectly impersonate your favorite Spice Girl. My favorite Spice Girl was always Posh Spice, Victoria Adams, and then Victoria Beckham. All of our British fans are listening right now, and they're like, "Her accent is bollocks." this is some bullshit. But
you couldn't fool me, that's for sure.
Oh my God.
I've never been to that side of the world.
That was pretty good.
As a Spice Girls fan, I've practiced this British accent for a very long time. How about you guys?
I have to know, did you go see Spice World in the movie theater?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, are you kidding me? My mum and all of my friends, we went and watched the Spice World movie. And recently, within at least the past 4 years, we've gone into this theater in Phoenix where they show, like, quote unquote vintage movies. And of course, the 90s are vintage now. So we watched Spice Girl there and got drunk out of our minds. And it was just a jolly good time.
Oh, man. Let's hope we don't lose any fans today. All right. What about you, Nicole?
That's good.
I'm not very great at accents, but we will say that I'm good at country because I like country music. So we'll go ahead and try that.
All right.
Hey, y'all, it's Nicole. Yeah, no, that was terrible.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you are Nicole.
Like yourself.
Yes, we know. This is Nicole Eldridge.
I had it in my head, but now I can't. Oh, okay, I can't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I guess no. I tried, and we totally plummeted,
hard.
and we're not going to do that to our
You're good at Valley
listeners.
Girl. That was good.
Yeah, that could be an accent.
I have a Chicago accent. There we go.
That's just her. The
Chicago, yeah.
It's hard. Oh, what, Hayley, do you have any accents?
Honestly, I think it is really, really hard. The only thing that I can think of that I can even remotely do is Smeagol from Lord of the Rings.
Do it.
And that's only because, like, I don't know, who can't do Smeagol? So, okay, hold on. I can't even do it.
Great Smeagol laugh.
I want it. Give me the ring.
Oh my
Give it to me now.
Yes, that was
I almost
good.
thought you were
There you
like
go.
choking, but then you like went on and I was like, okay, yeah, that's right. This is an accent. She's safe.
You just got it. Yeah, you got to pretend like you just, you got like a chicken nugget
I saw
stuck in
you
your throat.
prepare for that.
Me and my husband call that Elmo voice, though. And we go like, hello.
Tell me why.
Oh, my name is Elmo.
It's kind of like evil.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, evil Elmo meets like sick Yoda. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Yoda, Schmeagol, Elmo.
Oh,
Had a love child.
Okay, so then obviously we're gonna have to set up some like prank calls and like call people as like Smeagol or somebody from Chicago or Spice Girl.
What's yours, Alex?
I don't really have. I mean, I just make up character. I guess we were Hello, kids. I'm Mickey. Da, 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 da. I don't know. I've never really heard his voice.
That was creepy. It's so
I just do some random accents, not really an accent, but I create some kind of guy that nobody really heard of. And, his voice might sound a little raspy, like he's been smoking since he was...
It's giving me like Andrew Dice Clay vibes. Talk about an old
voice man. Yeah.
You can't... Don't give me like real people to impersonate. Just give me somebody that doesn't exist. And then...
All right, so what's your baby voice when you talk to your son? That's the one I want to hear.
Yes.
Oh, que mi niño, ese mi niño. I love you so much. Ese mi muchachi, ese mi muchachi, que tan bellín. All right, let me stop.
Coming in hot from the Valley of the Sun.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. This is your boy, Alexander Castillo Nunez, and by my virtual side, I got my fellow junkies, Shauna, Nicole, and Hayley. Say what's good.
What's good?
All right, Shauna's the only one that followed instructions. Okay, cool.
I know what's up. I can listen.
And Haley's the teacher also, by the way. She's the first one to break the rules.
I'm good at giving instructions, but not so great at following.
I'm a follower.
Oh, man. So, yeah, this is the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Happy to see you guys again.
Absolutely. Y'all look fabulous. Y'all look well-fed, moisturized, hydrated.
Yep, I showered today.
Oh my God, I showered today too.
Snap.
Today was an amazing day. I just got to say, I had a great day.
Good.
I had a great day. Okay, so my cousin is in town visiting from Florida, and I took him to this local coffee shop, and then we were like, what should we eat? We were all getting some snacks, and I looked at the menu, and I got toast with peanut butter and pickles on top. And it was delicious.
I'm gonna have to try this for myself.
Peanut butter pickle toast.
Peanut butter pickle
it was
toast.
so good.
Peanut butter.
I know, and
toast.
I was like, I swear I'm not pregnant. It sounded like a perfect combination of salty and sweet and crunchy, and then I ate it. And then I went home, and then I got into my inflatable kiddie pool in the backyard.
Nice.
And I had a lovely day. You guys.
Yeah. So what have you guys been watching, listening to, reading? I know that we have a couple of shows that we're fans here of at Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Let's probably get a little bit of update on that. I know we got a couple Law and Order organized crime junkies here. But anything new this week that that's gonna pop our hearts out?
This week, no crossover this last week, so you had the standalone episodes. But looking forward to next week, there's going to be another crossover, and actually Benson and Carisi from SVU are going to be on Organized Crime. Looking forward to that. Organized Crime is getting better and better and better. So yeah, continuing to pop the heck out of that show. Can't wait every week. And Mariska Hargitay has been on the Organized Crime set the past 2 days, which means they're actively filming more crossovers. So it's a good time to be a fan of Benson and Stabler and the SB universe. That is for sure.
Yeah, I know we watched some other shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier. You guys catch up with that?
Oh my God. Okay, yes.
You got to remind me because already I forgot.
Okay, obvious spoiler for Falcon and Winter Soldier 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. I feel like this episode, the one thing that I've been craving the past couple weeks with Falcon and Winter Soldier was I wanted more from those first two episodes when we got a lot of character building. So we got to see Sam and Bucky kind of what they're going through right now beyond just fighting crime and being superheroes. I want to see their family backdrops. I want to see the trauma that they're going through. And I feel like because this episode kind of took a step back where they were like, okay, we're waiting for information about the flag smashers. So we got to go back to the United States. We got to just wait for shit to come through. We got to see a lot more of them bonding with each other too, which I really liked. And, I loved how Bucky fixes something and he's using his actual arm And then Sam's like, why didn't you use the mechanical arm? It's like, I don't always think about it. I'm right-handed. I mean, I don't know. I really liked this episode.
Yeah, it makes me think about how complicated this series is, actually, because you're talking about like the two characters with these different backstories coming in for one show. And like, how do you do that in the span of however many episodes that they're doing? I personally feel satisfied with kind of like how they've kind of like put things together. Because, you know, it's not like we forget where Sam comes from. Like his sister, you know, still comes up and he's still dealing with the issues at home. And, you know, I don't even think Bucky ever stops. That's just like his daily life. But no, I've been pretty satisfied. And I mean, I got really excited. There was that one character that came in during the end that was speaking to John.
Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Okay, yeah. I was like, what's going on here? Like,
yes. So in the comics, she is, I believe, at least in some iterations of the comics, works for Hydra. So I think that she's possibly a Hydra agent who's, you know, trying to recruit, quote, Captain America, John Walker. I want to know, do you guys still think that Sharon might be the power broker, or do we think that there's someone else out there who might be the power broker?
I feel like this last episode really, like, because she only was on it for like 2 seconds. The one scene, and it showed her in a position of power making that phone call, and it was really ambiguous. And so for me, I was like, if she's not the power broker, then what the heck was that scene about? Like, so I feel like they were setting
Sharon
it up
Carter,
to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah, the blonde white chick.
Yeah, the badass kicking butt. No, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, well, and so here's the thing too, is in the comics, John Walker actually ends up in debt to the power broker. Something happens where the power broker ends up helping him out, which, I don't know, maybe in that case, maybe Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the power broker.
Right.
But yeah, so he ends up like, he goes down a really dark path in the comics, but then he ends up like turning around, and that's how he becomes U.S. agent and like ends up joining up with the Avengers. He has kind of like a redemption arc a little bit, which I think something that this show has done really well is give us complex characters. Like the Flag Smashers are not 100% wholly evil. John Walker, as horrible as he is, like he is clearly a product of the nation that created him.
Exactly.
So yeah, I really like how they have brought in a whole lot of like social commentary, but in a way that enriches the character. You know what I mean? It's not just there for the sake of being there.
No one is black and white. It's like even Zemo. We went into this and we know that Zemo is a bad guy.
Love Zemo.
And obviously
especially his dance moves.
In this entire show, yes, he's got some sick ass dance moves. And this show has worked very carefully, I think, to craft Zemo as a character we're supposed to kind of like. Because they wouldn't give him the goofy ass dance moves and like all these fun kind of scenes where he's backing away from the Dora Milaje. Am I saying that right? And like, you know what I'm trying to say? They set him up to be kind of likable.
Right.
Like, are they setting him up to be the next Loki? Yeah. I mean, obviously they're not replacing Loki, but another character, another quote unquote bad guy that we all kind of end up rooting for in the end.
Yeah, and I love that actor too.
So,
like, he's dope. He's so talented.
Right. Such a good actor. So yeah, I really am enjoying the show and the social commentary that it has. And I think that, Alex, you mentioned it last week, how they went from like just the mystical ass like WandaVision and then to this more grounded show. It's like, and now it really feels like the minute you watch this show, you're like, okay, this
Do
is
we know
a
how many
show.
more episodes are left?
Really?
One. Yeah, the next one is the finale.
Yeah, and then Loki starts sometime next month.
It makes me wonder if they're gonna make a new, like a second season of the show. Because to me, WandaVision felt complete. Like I don't even know if I thought it was just that one standalone season. At least that's how I feel.
I think that they're just. I think they're just using the show to. Same like they did with WandaVision to springboard the next phase of
bridge
the MCU.
gap, kind of.
Right. So same with the Loki series. Like the Loki series, we can tell because he's traveling through time. I think that's where we're going to see the introduction to like multiple universes and multiple dimensions.
Like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And Zemo in the comics, Zemo ends up like being the head of the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I kind of feel like his whole storyline heading into Wakanda might be setting him up for that. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's really just the beginning of the next phase, and I'm so excited.
And the Thunderbolts, for people listening, is kind of like the quote, like League of Villains, kind of, right? So it's like, I think Deadpool is in there. Like a lot of like anti-heroes are kind of in there. So it's like, it's kind of
Venom,
like
Punisher.
Yeah, like Suicide
Elektra.
Squad kind of people. Like they're quote unquote bad guys, but
They're like the anti-heroes.
there you go. We all like them anyway.
All right. Well, yeah, that's enough of Falcon Winter Soldier, because I can see Nicole zoning all over there into a whole another dimension. Nicole, what have you been watching? Tell us a little bit of what's on.
Well, thanks for asking. I've been watching Masked Singer as usual. Did not know who the person was that was revealed, but it was the Orca, and it was Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
I have to say,
who Mark McGrath was.
I love Mark
Did not
McGrath.
know who that was, but
I have to say real fast. Okay, as a child of the 90s, as I've mentioned before, my mother was in love with Mark McGrath when we were in the 90s. She thought he was like her celebrity crush. Just like, anyway, Nicole, look him up. And he's really hot from the 90s. Anyway,
will.
Yeah,
continue.
he's definitely changed
All right.
since then.
So I've watched Masked Singer. Did not actually catch Law and Order SVU or Organized Crime just yet from last week, so I will have to watch that ASAP. But the other thing I've been watching is lots and lots of sports, because we all know I'm a sports person. And something really exciting did happen this past week with one of my favorite teams, the Chicago White Sox, who are a baseball team. And their pitcher, Carlos Rodon, threw a no-hitter. He was throwing a perfect game up until like the 8th or 9th inning. He was throwing a perfect game, but then he threw a pitch and it hit the guy in the foot. So that guy was able to go to first base, but he still kept his no-hitter, which is amazing. It's still super hard to do in baseball.
Like, I could just imagine the ball just like slipping out of his hand or something. For it to like hit somebody in the foot, it might have just been an accident.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he was like on point.
And that's the thing. The pitcher was so mad, he literally turned to the guy he hit and he said, "You couldn't have moved out of the way." And the guy literally said, "I'm sorry. Like, I honestly didn't know you were throwing a perfect game. I just thought it was a no-hitter. So, like, if I would have known, I probably would have." But then again, it's like, you're that person that ruined the perfect game. So technically you're going to be a hero, but you're also a villain at the same time. So I guess it's however you look at it. But like I said, a no-hitter is still
It's like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
great.
There's so many gray areas. Who's the villain? Who's the hero?
Exactly. And then they also had some of their field players pitch the other day.
Wait, like...
Yeah.
That's
so
hilarious. I
that was
remember
crazy.
the Diamondbacks doing that a couple times.
No, yeah, but I mean, like, were they like pitching as like relief pitchers, like closers? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they run out of
yeah.
pitchers, right?
Yeah.
And so they just
Yeah,
start bringing
'cause
in.
oh, well, I guess that's not uncommon.
The White Sox, like, best pitcher did not do very well. But it was against the Red Sox, so you're welcome there, Alex.
Oh, you already know. That's my team. Actually, speaking of Red Sox, David Ortiz, I just saw this like announcement that my school is honoring him this year. My high school that I spoke of last year.
Yeah.
Did he go to your high school?
No, he's just they were honoring like people in the community.
His legacy?
Yeah, or just like people that are like artists or just like
Nice.
made an impact to the community and stuff. And since Boston and David Ortiz pretty much go hand in hand.
He's had a crazy past couple years, too.
So actually, Shauna, I saw this is the first time you've watched this movie, and it kind of like, it's incredible to even think that somebody would
Oh
wait
my God.
until they're like,
Dude, yeah.
already adult life.
We won't say how old I am.
Okay,
It's
so-
fine.
You already said what year you were born in
Yeah,
the
that's
beginning
right.
of
Since the
episode,
90s, you're right.
We all know.
People don't do math. No one knows math.
All right, so yeah.
Don't worry about it. You're
In
still
my
young.
23 years of life, I've never seen this.
Okay.
But yeah, I've never seen. This was my first time
The
watching The
Matrix,
Matrix this year.
what?
Ever,
And
I
like-
should say. Yeah. So my husband and I go back and forth. I've mentioned before that we're doing our Marvel rewatch, and we're still doing that. But something that we've done our entire relationship is if we're like, okay, it's movie night, let's watch a movie. A lot of times we spend our evenings either catching up on the shows that we regularly watch, which are, obviously Falcon and Winter Soldier, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, those week-to-week shows I've mentioned. We're rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho, which is like an anime from the 90s. But then, when we're caught up on all that stuff, we're like, okay, you get to choose the movie one night, and then the next time we go back and forth, I'll choose the movie, blah, blah, blah. And we were going through the movies, and it was my husband's turn. And we were scrolling through whatever streaming network it's on, and The Matrix popped up. And I was like, I've still never seen The Matrix all the way through. And he was like, okay, this is ridiculous. We need to just watch The Matrix right now. And somehow, okay, whatever, I'm 32 years old. I have not had The Matrix spoiled for me.
That's incredible, because I was going to say, like, if that's the kind of movies that you probably won't even need to, like, watch because they're just so, like, out there.
Pop culture embedded. Yeah. And like, okay, sure. I know like when he dodges the bullets, he does the back bend thing. And I got that. And like, but I didn't know the context. I didn't know how or why he was doing that. So I guess spoiler alert for The Matrix.
I don't think you need a spoiler alert for something that came out in 2003 or whatever.
Shauna was from a week ago is listening. She'd be like, oh my God, don't spoil it. Pause. But okay, so like the real world is The Matrix, you guys.
Sometimes I still feel like that's
we've known that for like 20 years.
My mind was effing blown. We had to pause it, and I was like, are you telling me that this whole time, like Keanu Reeves is birthed from like this like little gel cocoon thing, and he has no hair, eyebrows? Oh my God. Everyone listening is like, yeah, Shauna.
Know this.
Yeah. For me, mind blown. What?
I will never forget, like, that movie was such a cultural phenomenon. I remember going to church one week, and some kid got up at the pulpit and was like, and I believe that God has us in like a Matrix type simulation.
God.
And
he's
the pastor's
going
like,
get him down.
Everyone's looking around like, oh my gosh. Like, what do we do? It was everywhere.
We did definitely look at each other a few times throughout the night. We're like, what if this is a Matrix? And I'm like, this is a shitty ass Matrix. Stuff's.
Hi, I'm Hayley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom, and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms.
I see that there was a comedy special. It was Hayley that you watched with Tom Pappas. Is that his name?
Yeah, Tom Papa. He is. So I'm big into like clean comedians is how I roll. I like stuff I can listen to like with my kids in the same room. And so I'm a big fan of Jim Gaffigan, and that's actually how I discovered Tom Papa is like they're buddies, and they've got real similar comedic styles. But he just came out with a new special on Netflix called You're Doing Great. And the whole concept of his comedy special is all about how, like, no matter who you are and what you're doing and however you've been surviving this whole pandemic, you're doing great. What was cool about it was, like, it was funny, and obviously he's making fun of people, and he's making fun of himself, and he's making fun of the world, because that's what you do as a comedian. But, like, sprinkled throughout it was just this ongoing message of, like, you're doing great. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. It doesn't matter, if you had 17 cheeseburgers yesterday so that you could just get through the effing day. Like you're doing great. And so I loved it. It was like the exact thing that I needed to distract me from the craziness that is the world and the news and everything, and just kind of let me zone out and laugh.
Where did you watch it?
So yeah, I recommend it. It's on Netflix.
All right.
Yeah, Netflix comedy special.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of comedy specials. They have so many. Actually, that's what hooked me onto Netflix in the first place, was just all the comedy specials they have.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because you can put it on and you can do your work or whatever, clean the house. Like, it's not something you have to like watch necessarily. You can just.
So is that all you did? You just watched that comedy special just over and over and bring joy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you know what the thing is like when you watch Law and Order and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I watched A Million Little Things this week, which like dealt with like sexual assault and like grooming of a teenager. Like I was watching really heavy stuff. So I was like, I need something chill and funny.
I haven't really watched too many things this week, but I did get a chance to see the movie Nobody. And it's the one with Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, where they make him a action star.
Yeah, it was actually
right?
All right, so this one, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it because I mean, I thought it was.
Yes, tell me all about this.
It was kind of lame, honestly. I thought it.
I don't buy him as an action star. I did like him in Breaking Bad. Obviously,
I do think he was good for this role. Honestly, I think this movie would have been better if it was directed by Tarantino. Like that's what I feel. I feel like because I mean it was just. I mean, there's a lot of like violence and stuff, and it's fun to like it's like it's there's a lot of action in it, and like it grabs your attention. Yeah. But sometimes it just feels out of place. And like Christopher Lloyd's in it, RZA's in it, and like there's a scene in the end where like Christopher Lloyd is like 103 years old, and he's over here shooting a like 12 gauge shotgun, and he's like with this. It's just really
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
That makes me want to watch it just for that.
I mean, I definitely think you should watch it, but I don't know. I just felt like the things were kind of like misplaced. Like if it was Tarantino, I think I would. I think it should have been a Tarantino movie, keeping the same cast. Maybe. Changing up the script a bit, but
Tarantino's violence, I feel like it serves a purpose for the script, but it's also very clearly over the top and a little gratuitous. But we know that it's going to be gratuitous. Does that make sense?
It's kind of like going into like a Fast and Furious movie. You're not there for the plot.
Like it's going to be stupid. The car is going to fly like a spaceship for some reason, and you accept that going in.
Well, I love Tarantino. I'm a big Tarantino fan, and.
Oh, yeah, I like Tarantino, too.
I think, it's just everything in the beginning, like, it kind of switched up. Because I thought the movie was going to be something when it started, and it was something completely different afterwards. Yeah. But even then, I would say, pop it if you're interested, but I wouldn't say, like, take some time. It's out in theaters, and you can, rent it, like, online through, like, Vudu and, like, Apple TV.
I have to mention 2 movies. One I did watch and one I didn't that's been crazy in the news this week, and I want to know if any of you guys have watched it. Okay, so the first one that I did watch was this movie called Spontaneous, and I want to say I watched it on Amazon Prime. I definitely streamed it. We watched it at home. And it's this coming of age story with these teenagers in high school, and it follows this young girl. She's definitely... I mean, she drinks, she does drugs, she parties with her friends, blah, blah, blah. She's one of those kids. But like all of a sudden in her high school class, kids start spontaneously combusting in this movie and just popping like balloons. So basically just splash and blood and guts and gore everywhere, right? So it's this movie where it's her and she ends up falling in love, spoiler, with this guy, and they date. And it's basically the two of them trying to hope that neither of them explode and spontaneously combust in front of each other, and dealing with the fact that all of their classmates are literally splattering on the walls in front of them. Yeah. It's a very interesting movie, and for a little bit, I was like, this girl's got some trauma. I mean, she definitely has some trauma. The main character deals with a lot of her drinking and drugs, which I get, and I understand, and like, I'm like, I can get why she would be doing that, but at the same time, I'm like, she kind of seems like an asshole this entire movie.
It kind of reminds me of the boys and the person with the superpower that kind of just blows people up.
Okay. The graphics, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because the graphics look exactly the same as that, where all of a sudden they just go and they just explode, and it's just like the boys where everyone.
What if you can like get a chunk of somebody's cheek on your cheek, and you're like, this is.
And they definitely mention that, and they deal with that in the movie where they're like, you get goo on you, and like somebody gets hit in the face with another person's body part. I would pop it I would pop it if you're not.
I think there's a lot
Literally.
more popping than just.
I would pop it like a needle to a flesh balloon.
Oh man! Well, I'm glad that you guys have been busy
Hey.
watching your, TV and movies.
Wait, I have to mention one other movie.
Okay.
Okay, wait. The other movie that I wanted to mention is this movie called Songbird. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it or watched it this week, but it's been all over the
Sounds
news.
familiar.
KJ Apa is in it. Demi Moore. It's got a pretty star-studded cast, and I think that they're touting it as the first studio film that was filmed during quarantine, right? And it's called Songbird. But the plot of the movie is literally, it's the year 2023, and COVID-23 has taken over. COVID-23, that's the disease in the movie.
Oh my goodness.
So apparently the United States has been in lockdown since 2019.
Oh, so this is a new COVID.
Survivors
So
of,
it's like,
yeah.
okay. So, I mean, it's not like, so there's COVID-19 and COVID-23 in this movie?
Okay, so COVID-19, in real life, the reason it's named COVID-19 is because it was first detected in the year 2019. I guess in this movie, COVID-23 is the newest strain of the disease.
So this is in this timeline,
So-
we've already had COVID-19.
I
Songbird.
think so. To be fair, I didn't watch
Oh.
the movie. But
Okay, no, I'm reading the description right now, and there's COVID-19 has mutated into COVID-23.
There you go.
The world is in its fourth pandemic year, and the people are forced into quarantine camps.
yeah,
that
they
are,
send
like
all those survivors into camps. Yes. Right?
and the
Okay.
infected are left to die.
That's so messed up.
And some people have immunity, and they're like selling these immunity wristbands illegally. This sounds ridiculous. This sounds,
Yeah.
and it's got Riverdale and then the girl from the Descendants Disney
Yeah.
movie. So no thanks.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's been getting terrible
Okay.
reviews. Obviously. Who wants to watch this?
It's
What
produced
the-
by Michael Bay.
Seriously?
Like, there's nothing in this description that makes me want to watch this.
like, okay, first of all, like thousands and thousands of people are still dying. This is a real life thing that's still, I know as many people like to think, oh my God, the pandemic's over. Thousands of people worldwide are still
reports
dying
are
from
coming
this
in.
every day. And now we're going to make this movie with KJ Apa and his abs.
And it's a love story. It's like about like trying to seek immunity so they can be
Oh,
together.
my
Like
KJ
what on
Apa's
earth?
character is immune to COVID-23 and he wants to get to his girlfriend before
Wow.
she's taken off to quarantine camp.
And I thought our accents were dumb. This is horrible.
Oh,
Yikes.
man.
One of us needs to watch this movie just so we can text the other ones about how, like, one of us please watch it like and make it, we can watch it together and make it into like a drinking game.
Have a watch party.
Anytime you're horribly offended or like this is super effed up, just take a drink.
Dude, that is so tone deaf. Like not to be like that person or
No,
whatever,
it is.
but like
It's super tone
my,
deaf.
yeah, like my dad is still recovering from COVID, and KJ Appa's like, I'm just gonna collect my check to pretend to,
Yeah.
you know.
Dude,
Like,
my
screw that.
husband's great grandmother, like bless her, she passed. She was in her 90s, but you know she got COVID, and before COVID hit, she was picking things from her garden and living her life, and you know just it, like this stuff is still affecting people, and now all of a sudden we're making this too soon. # too
Yeah.
soon Hollywood.
Not surprised though. But yeah,
Yuck.
I know there's been a lot of stuff happening in Hollywood actually, from celebrities breaking up, fighting whether it's relationships or fighting whether it's just because I don't like you. I don't know. But yeah, I'm interested in what kind of news is out there. What have you guys been seeing out there? Haley, I speaking of fights, you have anything about this Jake Paul, Pete Davidson situation?
Dude. All right, so I'll go pretty quick, but anyone who knows me knows I have very low tolerance for like YouTubers or influencers, if that's what you want to call it. Like, especially the Paul brothers. Like they really grind my gears.
Same. Absolutely.
But so the whole Jake Paul like boxing thing is so ridiculous to me because he's only ever fought people who are not actually in shape. And this Ben Askren fight was no different. He's like this retired MMA fighter who he's got a dad bod. He's been just like chilling on the couch for several years.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all. As Tom Papa said, he's doing great. But Jake Paul knocking him out in a ring is also nothing,
Yeah, no, I got you.
Worth celebrating. But yeah, the best part of the fight was Pete Davidson showing up, and he was like the host or the commentator, and he just made fun of both of them the whole time. I mean, he's like, no one cares about this. This is just evidence that like influencers have gone too far, and he's like, these guys both suck, and the only good thing that's going to come out of it is someone's going to get hurt. So, yeah, he was the best part of the whole fight.
I love Pete Davidson. No shame. I love him.
If you haven't seen Pete Davidson's commentary from that fight, like that is worth watching. The fight itself, waste of time, hilarious. But his commentary is great. Yeah,
yeah. Pete Davidson, he's on SNL, and I love like when he does like those like music videos. I don't know. He's just fun to watch.
He's so funny. And, I know a lot of people hate on Pete Davidson and they say that he's not funny or whatever. I think he's hilarious. I really liked King of Staten Island.
Yeah, me too.
He did a recent sketch on SNL where he recreated like an Eminem music video that I thought was really funny. But like another Pete Davidson piece of news is he was recently cast to portray Joey Ramone. So there's a Netflix upcoming movie called I Slept with Joey Ramone, and that's a biopic about the singer, obviously the lead singer of the Ramones. So the film is going to honor Joey Ramone. This is the 20th anniversary of his death, when he died at 49 after a 7-year battle with lymphoma. So Pete Davidson was cast as Joey Ramone.
That's a big deal.
I'm kind of chill with this casting. Yeah, like Joey Ramone is, a punk icon. I think that Pete Davidson is a young, up-and-coming kind of like, he subverts social norms. I think that that's as punk as you can get. And like the fact that some people love him, some people hate him. I don't know. We can all argue in the comments about what punk is and what punk isn't. But like, I think that this is a good casting. And I did hear that Pete Davidson might be actually singing.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I feel like it's definitely a challenge for actors when they have to portray somebody that's, an icon.
Real.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And so this is definitely going to be interesting to see, because this is definitely out of the element that we're used to seeing Pete Davidson in. So I'm excited to what the outcome of this is going to be, especially if he's singing.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you just said, it's a challenge when actors have to portray somebody who actually exists. And I think sometimes that can be the highlight of their career. So it's like a lot of these actors, and I think that a lot of people have complaints with Pete Davidson too, where they say, quote, they play the same character over and over. It's kind of like the Adam Sandler. It's like every movie, every sketch, he's Adam Sandler. And the same with Pete Davidson. People say every sketch, he's Pete Davidson. But when you actually play like a real life character, you have to put yourself and pretend like you're that person. So I don't know. I have high hopes for him, and I think he can do it. And I don't know. I love Pete Davidson, and it's not just because I would absolutely spend some time.
I'm gonna add that to your list.
Platonically.
Add that to your list of crushes here.
I'll forever think of him as Chad on Saturday Night Live. So I can't see him as anything else.
Okay.
He will always be Chad. And that's
Me and my husband always make Chad jokes where one of us will say something, the other one will go,
okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Do you want to do it tonight, babe?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Nicole, you have any news you want to share with us today?
I do, and with the time being, it is kind of long. There's just one topic I want to talk about, and it's James Charles.
Spill it all over me, girl.
It kind of all started in 2019 when James Charles, who is a makeup guru YouTuber, he's been doing YouTube for years before that, but 2019 was like a pretty big scandal for him. He partnered with Sugar Bear Hair, who was a competitor of one of his best friends, Tati Westbrook. It's a vitamin company, Halo Beauty. And Tati and James were really close, like best friends. And he went kind of against her because he said, I don't want to promote these types of vitamins to my teenage followers, but went ahead and did Sugar Bear Hair. And Tati got very upset about it. She came out with the video, and she ended up bringing up something that happened at Coachella, that James was making sexual advances to a Instagram model named Gage Gomez, who is straight. He's come out and said, I'm straight.
Okay.
I have no interest in James. James is gay, by the way. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah.
Just so we can have some context for the story. And Gage Gomez said he didn't want anything to do with it, and James tried to pressure him into sexual situations that he was very uncomfortable with, which has brought me to what I want to bring up today. It started in February of this year, 2021, and a 16-year-old boy came out and claimed that James groomed him and pressured him into exchanging of sexual photos over Snapchat. James spoke out and said that he didn't know that the boy was only 16. He said that he thought the boy was 18 or over. I don't know how old, but he said he was not aware that the kid was underage. Later that same month in February, 3 more males came forward about the same exact thing. James was asking them for pictures, trying to exchange flirting, text messages, and stuff like that. And of course, James once again said, I did not know that they were under the age of 18.
How do you not know that? All of it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm not defending him, but all I'm saying is...
No. You're reporting the news, girl.
Yes.
Fool me once.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Fool me twice.
Like, where are you that you somehow find yourself around children?
He came out with a video April 1st, and it was like an apology video type thing, and he says that he finds these boys on Instagram and just DMs them.
Wait, what's his name? James Charles?
Well, like,
finds them and...
Yeah.
James Charles, or like the guys will DM him and he'll just like DM them back.
Yeah, when you're that famous, honestly, you get so many DMs.
Well, and like you should be smart enough to not be like DMing dudes on Instagram. It's not rocket science.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I feel like as an adult, you should be in adult spaces.
Oh, for sure. And he's come out and said in his previous apology video, he's like, I'm desperate. I know I'm desperate. Like, I need to get help, blah, blah, blah. But there's also more that is on this scandal. He has a YouTube series called Instant Influencer, which is a makeup competition series where he'll just bring in a bunch of makeup artists who are not well known. They do challenges. The winner gets prize, whatever. He was actually fired of being the host from that. YouTube has also demonetized all of his videos. So he will no longer be making money off of YouTube.
Is this still James Charles?
He was making bank on YouTube.
Oh, yes. He has 25.5 million followers. Or subscribers, I should say. And this previous week, Morphe, which if you don't know is a huge makeup company, and they have a James Charles palette where James Charles and them collabed.
Yeah.
It's probably one of Morphe's top sellers because of how popular he is and all of his followers. They are actually going to stop selling that product. And James and Morphe have come out together and said that they have parted ways. Wow. So he will be no longer making money with Morphe, no longer be making money off of YouTube until further notice, will not have his YouTube series, and he has not posted on social media since April 1st.
Do you know if he's facing any charges at all?
At the moment, I don't think so, but I would not be surprised if later in the future, sometime soon, that there are charges against him, because this is not the first time these allegations have happened.
Yuck.
As I've told you in the previous, just this year, what's been happening.
Yeah.
This is just one of those things where I'm like, I get so exhausted, like continuing hearing about it. And like I remember last year, I don't know if you guys ever got into American Ninja Warrior, but Drew Dreshel, who was like the winner, the big time winner, the face of the franchise, he was put in prison because he groomed a kid. And he was married. He had a baby. I mean, that was one of those things where I was just like, oh, I was sick to myself. Like, I literally couldn't even sleep for days because I was just like,
gross.
It's one of those. It keeps freaking happening, dude. It keeps happening. Just today, a bunch of my fellow cosplayers who are freaking brave, and I love them, and they're amazing. They came out and they called out one of the most popular and well-connected cosplayers in New York for freaking sexually grooming a bunch of women and sending them free products and all this kind of stuff. And also he could start sending them nudes over Instagram. It's like, I'm so freaking sick of it, man.
Yeah.
And, kudos to these people for speaking out about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I remember this song from like I was an emo kid growing up, as shock and awe amongst our audience. So there's this band called Lost Prophets, and there's this song Last Train Home. Like the lead singer of Lost Prophets has been arrested for like possession of child pornography and like grooming minors or something like that. Like all these, it's just like
it's so disturbing that these are trends. Like
right.
Yeah.
It's just,
I had this playlist called like Bump and Grind, and it was like a bunch of like R&B like songs. But then R. Kelly's
on there,
and so I had it. And now it's called Nice and Slow.
There you go. There you go.
We ain't bumping and grinding anymore. We're going nice and slow.
But
you know, you can bump and grind to lots of other stuff. It's like that Lady Gaga had a song with R. Kelly a couple of years ago called Do What You Want With My Body. And you know what? That song's a bop. It's a good song. But R. Kelly's on it with her, and she recorded a music video with it. I don't know what she was thinking. The music video never got released. Apparently the video was super problematic too. And she re-released the song, and all of R. Kelly's bits were re-recorded with Christina Aguilera.
Nice.
So now
that's a save.
It's like super gay and even better than it was in the original. So I'm okay. You know, I like it even better now. So
yeah.
But
all right.
You know, that whole thing about James Charles messed up. Like Nicole,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but we've been a lot of ADHD going on here today. But before we close, I did want to just acknowledge a couple things. You know, obviously there's been a lot of social issues going on around us, you know, on top of the other stuff that we've, you know, been talking about just today, all these like trends that are just inappropriate and just happening around us. But I'm more specifically now talking about, you know, the trials that are happening, the, you know, police brutality, or, you know, just people of color dying. And I wanted to acknowledge that these things are happening and kind of want to encourage people to take time to learn about these sort of things, or at least try to find perspective or understanding from somebody else's point of view. And being that we are the Pop Culture Junkie podcast, definitely wanted to reference some pop culture out there that you can probably take the time to watch. One being Amend on Netflix. That's been on for a couple months now, but I took I watched it a little bit, and sometimes I'm like nervous to watch these things because they really like trigger me.
They're too close to home sometimes. Yeah. That's how I felt with Handmaid's Tale. It's like,
yeah,
this is too close to reality.
But Amend, it goes into kind of just the journey through civil rights here in the United States. So, you know, it goes through, you know, Black, brown, people of indigenous, you know, just different civil rights, whether it's LGBTQ plus, women's rights, Black rights. It really goes into kind of just the issues that have been happening historically here. I'm getting a really bad explanation on it, but I recommend to watch it.
One more time. What's it called?
Amend on Netflix.
Okay, I'm going to watch that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. And also, in the little plug, if you are into plays, if you're a thespian like myself, there's a play called Hype Man. It was produced by Company One a couple of years ago, and I was fortunate enough to watch it in person. But they redid the play and did sort of like a teleplay. So now Company One partnered with the American Repertory Theater in Boston to produce the show. And it's, you know, it touches on, you know, police brutality, what it's like to be Black, what it's like to be white, you know, how to be, you know, what it is to be stuck in the middle even, and kind of figure out, you know, how can we do something about the things that are happening around us? Like, how do we use our voice to represent who we are? Hype Man, a breakbeat play. Check that out. It's online. You can find it, AmericanRepertoryTheater.org. And yeah, again, check out Amends too. Like I said, if you want to learn more, take some time to like really understand what's really going on, or, you know, find yourself in somebody else's shoes. And if you want to, and again, we'll put these in the show notes as well, so that you guys can get some easy access to it.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say that I think that, like, obviously we talk about pop culture and we want this show to be a distraction from all of the BS that actually goes on in everyday life. And it's a place that we can all like go and talk about our hobbies and our interests. But I feel like pop culture is so often bleeds into reality and vice versa. I mean, if anybody who's a fan of the X-Men, if you want to try to remove like social justice and like all of that from, nerddom, it's impossible. So, I mean,
we bring this stuff up every week with all the shows that we watch.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier could easily be called institutionalized racism in the way we treat our veterans.
Absolutely. Amen. Like that's the entire plot of that show. And it's like, if you don't understand what's going on in the real world, then you're not going to understand the nuances of this, pop culture and the things going on. And like the things that are portrayed in the media and fiction often mirror what's actually going on in reality.
Since the days of Shakespeare, man. It's been, social commentary guides our pop culture. So
that's what art is.
So
pop culture.
Exactly. It's popular culture. It's the culture that we live in that's popular that we're all paying attention to. So I don't know. Everybody just, love each other, pay attention to what's going on around you, and, just fight for justice wherever you can.
But that's our show, guys. And as always, I'm happy to be here and want to give some time for the junkies here, the peeps, to let us know where we can find you guys.
You can follow me on social media, Shauna Trinidad, ShaunaTrinidad. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter. And I just, I love interacting with all of you, and be prepared to, as they say in New Girl, I hope you like feminist rants, because that's what I'm into. If you follow me on social media.
All right,
how about you guys?
Nicole, where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Nicole_Eldridge, and on Twitter at NAEldridge14, and on TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge.
You can follow me on Instagram at 30NerdyThriving, on Twitter at 30NerdyPod, and of course on my solo podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, wherever your podcasts are sold.
If anyone asks you for money to listen to our podcast and they are a bad
if you want to give me money, I will take your money.
Like, unless it's one of us.
Me.
You can find me, Alex, at Alcasnun. That's ALCASNUN on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, visit us at popculturejunkie.com. There you'll find all of our other links to all of our other social media, as well as our merchandise. I think we're still in our Friends limited edition. So check that out before it's too late. But don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe, and review. We appreciate all your comments, and we're happy to enjoy this time with you every week. Thanks, guys.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.